This video is going to be jam-packed with a lot of harsh truths and lessons that you are going to have to internalize, but women only become obsessed with men who refuse to act like this. Okay? This is going to take me a while to explain, but I'm going to show you everything, and this video will probably bring back a lot of painful mistakes as to why your past relationships have failed. But rest assured, I've laid this out in perfect sequential order, so by the end of it, you're going to have a mindset shift where you actually understand how important this is. So if you hear that title, or whatever I just said, and you go, women only become obsessed with men who refuse to act like this, you're probably sitting there wondering, well, what would that be? Okay, listen close. Women become obsessed with the men who refuse to let the woman make him an active participant in things he has no interest in doing. I understand that that's probably hard to understand, so let me say it one more time. Women become obsessed with the men who refuse to let the woman make him an active participant in things he has no interest in doing. She is going to look at that guy and go, God, why can't it just be smooth with him? God, why is he always pulling back like that? Why is there always that tension? Why is there always that turmoil? Why can't I just get this guy to get on my process? Why can't I get this guy to get on my program? Why can't I get this guy to get on my way of life? Why doesn't he just conform? Why doesn't he just say yes? Why is all the shit just not easy going with this guy? Nothing's easy going. She goes, I can't read that guy's interest level. She goes, I have no fucking idea what he's thinking. I have no idea why he just won't get on my program. The men who refuse to become an active participant in things that he has no interest in doing, that is the guy that she chases. That is the guy that she pursues. The guy who has his own life and does his own things. The long story short is this. The men who consistently get left year after year after year, relationship after relationship after relationship, the guys who get left are the guys who cannot say no. No, I'm not doing that. No, that is not a good use of my time. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you how I discovered all of this, and how some of these men even rebuilt better and quicker, and why I can show you that I actually have proof that this is important. The long story short is that the men who get left are the men who cannot say no. Those are the men who get left. Those are the men who get dumped. Those are the men who get heartbroken. Those are the men who get cheated on. That right there is the guys who get left. So listen to me closely. Women become obsessed with the men who refuse to conform to the program and lifestyle that she's trying to run on you. When you meet a woman, she is instantly asking herself questions, and then she's going to be asking you questions to see how easily you are going to conform to her program. And this right here is going to make it so she knows what category she wants to put you in. She's going to say, is this guy husband material? Is this guy boyfriend material? Is this guy, just a guy I'm going to see once a week? Is this a guy who I'm just going to sleep with a few times and then he, doesn't see a future relationship with me? She might even say, do I want to sleep with him a few times and then not have a future relationship with him? Women tend to get invested into relationships with men that they feel like there is a chance that they can actually control him. If she feels like she can start to control your day-to-day decisions and where you're going to put your time, this is a man that she will probably entertain a relationship with, because she looks at him and she goes, he has a little bit of backbone, but I think I can control his decisions and seduce him into the point to where he thinks I'm so beautiful and he has such a fear of loss that I can get him to basically just go along with me. And she says, I think I can slowly get him to follow me along this journey and do what I want. This is what you have to remember. So women become obsessed with the men who refuse to conform to the program and lifestyle that she's trying to run on you. When you meet a woman, she is testing your interest level to see what you will say no to. And the more beautiful she is, and on top of that, the more that other men start to lust after her, the more she starts to understand the power of her own beauty, which means she's going to be doing different things to potentially manipulate you. So if you hear this video right now, if you're listening to this and you're sitting here going, well, what is an active participant? Because you got to really look at how I'm wording this. I just told you that women become obsessed with the men who refuse to be an active participant in the things that he has no interest in doing. Well, you might be wondering, okay, well, what is an active participant? An active participant means that you got no interest in doing the thing, but the thing is that you say yes because you're scared that if you say no, she's going to go and sleep with somebody else. That's what you think. You think, well, okay, she's going to go entertain other options if I don't say yes to this. So then you go, well, I got to say yes, and I got to go along and do all this. I got to go to the furniture store on a Saturday. I have to get, drug over to the candle store. Now I got to, on a Saturday, now she wants to drag me over to the furniture store. By the end of it, you completely lose all of your priorities and who you are because you're just following along her program. So an active participant means that you stop saying no to the things that you want to say no to. And the truth is, she can tell that she is beautiful enough for you to say yes to everything. So this is the funniest thing about this. If you only had like a 5, 6, or 7 level interest, you would easily say no and make that decision. But because she can tell you have a level 8, 9, or 10 interest, now you start saying yes to all this stuff and you conform. You conform to the things that she wants to do. So an active participant is like things like this. She's going to say certain examples to you, or she's going to say certain things to you. She might say, babe, will you go to this pottery making class with me? I want to go learn how to make pottery. Will you do this with me? And then you say yes. An active participant means you have no interest in going and making pottery, but that's where you're going to put your time. She might say, babe, we need to go get this. Will you go to the mall with me? Yeah, I really think we need some new rugs. Yeah. Even though you know that you don't need any new rugs, but you're just going to say yeah. And then she says, oh, okay. Looks like I can get him to invest time, energy, money, and resources into these rugs, even though he doesn't need them or doesn't want to buy them. I better keep seeing what he'll agree to. She might say, well, Becky and Michaela both have boyfriends that agreed to go to the festival. Why won't you? Why won't you? Don't you want to do that? Don't you want to go to the festival? Becky and Michaela's boyfriends are. Why can't you be like them? Why can't you just say yes? Right? She might leave out the fact that Becky and Michaela are both like really trying to cheat, or maybe have. She'll leave that out. Oh yeah, she'll be sure to leave that out, but she wants you to behave like Becky and Michaela's boyfriend. Okay, you've been taught your whole life that relationships are about compromise, which means it's give and take. This is what you've been taught as a man. Your whole life, everybody tells you, oh, relationships are about give and take, compromise. Be there for her, and she's going to reciprocate that interest, and she's going to be there for you. They're not. They are not about compromise at all. This is a false belief. You're the man, and you know deep down what is a priority and what isn't. You know deep down on a core level, as a man, what is a priority. You know deep down on a core level what you should say no to. But you keep putting your time in all of these places, and the only thing that happens is your success and your status and your health and fitness, for that matter, keeps going down. You say yes to that event, yes to that party, yes to that festival, yes to that pottery making class, and that time could have been spent elsewhere, which means you say no to your business, you say no to your fitness, you say no, once again, to finally getting in shape and getting six-pack abs. You keep telling yourself no to all the things you want to accomplish, and that's why she can't get to that point with you where she just is like, wow, this is a man's man. This guy does what he is wanting to do with his day-to-day priorities. So this is a false belief. You need to know where you put your time and where a man needs to put his time to get ahead. So this is what I see. What I constantly see is when guys have a level 8, 9, or 10 interest, not only is she never like obsessed with him Not only is she never chasing his validation or pursuing him, but I constantly see this. The guy's fitness always goes down, like every time. If you show me a guy who, let's say he's in a relationship for like, let's say 2 years or let's say 5 years, here's what typically happens. If you put side-by-side pictures of him, there's a noticeable difference by the end of that relationship. Not every time. Some guys do a good job at keeping up with this, but typically there is a noticeable difference in his overall fitness and physical attraction. If you put a side-by-side picture of before the relationship and once the relationship's over, typically his fitness is not as good. His face is typically more puffy and bloated. You can tell that he's not prioritizing the foods that he wants to eat, because what happens is he is going along for the ride of her program. Typically his finances go down because he's spending time at pottery making class and he's not actually accomplishing anything. Or he tells himself that, he is so in love, he just could never imagine going and doing something by himself or going and putting his time elsewhere. And the time spent doing stuff, being an active participant in things that he has no interest in, goes up, and now she leaves. Well, if you think this was a good video so far, just wait, because I have a whole nother page of notes here. And this is really just the tip of the iceberg, because I teach this better than anybody. What I can tell you is she's always testing your character to see what you will agree to. She is always testing that character to see what you're going to agree to, what you're going to say yes to, and what you want to say no to. But the truth is, you don't have the balls to do it. She sees that. She sees you don't want to go. She sees you have no interest. She sees, and you still say yes. You still say sure. Sure, babe. Yes, babe. Anything for you, babe. Oh, and she looks at you and she goes, gotcha. Oh, I got you. You have been emotionally conquered. Your mindset has been overtaken by beauty. She's always testing your character. When she gets you to be an active participant, you are in her frame, and now she doesn't like you. So you got to understand this. There's a difference between her just agreeing to a relationship or dating a guy because, that's who she has in her life right now. Okay, maybe she's like, yes, we're in a relationship, or he wants to be in a relationship, so she stays in it for a while to see where things go. But guess what? The guys who are just so stable, so predictable, they never rock the boat. No, never. Always worry about making sure that things are just as good as they can always be. No backbone. There's no emotional tension ever. There's no uncertainty. There's definitely no drama or turmoil between the two ever. Just all consistency. He's just, her emotions at all times is just, perfect. And because of that, she doesn't feel anything for you. Because of that, you're too boring. You need to be able to go and do your own stuff. You need to be able to say no. You need to be able to know what you should and shouldn't do. The truth is, you're such a nice guy that she sees the effect her beauty has on you, and now it's over. Because women get you to be an active participant in things that you have no interest in doing. This is the road to her attempting if she can emasculate you. Now, you will notice the difference between male nature and female nature. Men don't oftentimes do this because that is just not his typical nature, typically. Like, let's say a guy is really into, let's say powerlifting, or let's say auto body mechanics. He doesn't typically go over to his girlfriend and say, hey babe, you want to learn how to change a tire with me? Or hey babe, do you want to get into powerlifting with me? He doesn't say, oh yeah babe, you should get into powerlifting with me and we can now track your squat, your bench press, and your deadlift every single day. He doesn't do that. However, women attempt to bring you into their world. She will say, baby, go to ballet class with me. Babe, why can't you go to pottery making class with me? She is going to try to get you to fall into her lifestyle. Her nature will do that. That is the road to attempt to see if you are strong of the mind or not. You have to really recognize this stuff. So the truth is, women get you to be an active participant. I'm going to show you how I realize this in just a little bit. The truth is, you don't want to be at the family reunion, so why do you go? You go because you're scared to say no. The truth is, you don't want to be at her cousin's piano recital, but you say yes, so why are you there? And then you complain also that you don't make the type of money that you want to make. Well, how do you expect to make the type of money that you want to make if you're not putting your time in the right spots? You don't want to do this, so why do you? The truth is, you are that in love. And a man in love starts to become weak. You are controllable. I'm going to tell you right now how I put 2 and 2 together. Over the years, I've seen a few guys go through divorces. And these were guys who were pretty financially stable, successful, or had really good businesses while they were married. And here's what I saw every single time. Here's what I have seen almost every single time. The wife, okay, during the end of that marriage or once the divorce was final, she would say something along the lines of like, oh yeah, his success was because he had a supportive person like me by his side. She always will say, he couldn't have done it without me. And what I have seen in all of those circumstances with high net worth individuals is those guys, after that divorce, even though they went through a period of time where they were heartbroken, all of them rebuilt better in a fraction of the time. In a fraction of the time. Because here's the thing, there was no more shopping for rugs and candles on the weekend. And despite her saying that, it wasn't true.